sunglasses. I think it was Karma who was referred to as the queen of handlock as well.
Yeah, she plays a lot of handlock. Now the question is, can she bring something to destroy Koyuki with? Because this tests not the ability to execute, but also to think a little bit for yourself and creatively discuss with other teammates or friends of like how to best use it. And I think Koyuki definitely has a winning formula so far.
For sure.
All three of his decks seem to benefit a lot. What does Karma have specifically as we do go to Warlock versus Rogue here? It's going to be handlock, by the way.
Yeah. And handlock, theory crafted a little bit earlier and didn't think that it fit too much into handlock as opposed to Zoo. There are some good targets for it, but they're very situational. Targets like Anti-Q-Bot and Big Game Hunter are good things to be able to Brewmaster back. But then again, there's a lot that you don't want to.
Taunt Givers?
Taunt Givers as well,
Like maybe if you have the one Argus.
Yeah. But it seems like there's a lot of high impact turns for handlock that are make or break for a game that you use up all of your mana on.
I agree. I think handlock wouldn't be the strongest use of the Brewmasters. It could very well be that Karma is well known for being an insanely good handlock player and just says, screw it, I'm going to put Brewmasters in handlock and just play handlock.
Yeah.
Now this matchup is still very tough, but when you have Big Game Hunter and Sabotage and Sap, like ways to get board momentum and kill off big threats, it's all of a sudden not as bit of a deal as you think it would be.
Sap is like a backwards Brewmaster.
Kind of.
It's like an opposite day Brewmaster. Instead of sending back one of my own minions, I'm going to send back one of your minions.
Oh, gotcha. It's a confused Brewmaster. Alright, I guess I can relate.
You sapped the wrong guy, Brewmaster!
Joke's on you.
Yeah.
Twilight Drake has... Oh, what's up?
Well, I was going to say, I guess it's pretty practical with Taunt Givers. Like, that's the biggest thing. And that's a good point to show here, is that you can use a Sunfury Protector, bring it back, and then have it later on. You can be more liberal with your Taunt Givers because you know that you have ways to reel them back in.
Well, Sabotage deals with the Drake pretty easily. That's pretty much what's ideal usage of. You're not going to destroy your opponent's weapon unless it's Jiraxis. If the game goes to that phase, you're often probably going to either win or like decisively, or you're going to be in big trouble anyways. It's usually one or the other. It's not in the middle. So Karma is going to drop this Giant most likely. Oh man. And it's going to get shut down by Big Game Hunter. And the question is, will she have an ability to respond to the board so that the second Mountain Giant actually does something?
I'd be thinking about Sludge Belcher here, and I actually, well, I don't know. It's tough to say, but I guess this is a way to force him to have Big Game Hunter. Otherwise, this could be a big swing into Karma's favor.
Sludge Belcher doesn't really even make sense too much if you want to play Mountain Giants over 2 turns, because next turn you couldn't even play 2 Mountain Giants. You only could play 1, because at most you'd be able to fit in 7 mana of Mountain Giants. So I think playing it now makes the most sense. But I understand where you're coming from, just because you would play around the Big Game Hunter if that was the case, but
there's more of an urgency to remove the Big Game Hunter off the board in this format once it's used, because you don't want to give them a chance to Brewmaster it back, especially in handlock. Because if he's able to just Brewmaster back, it's not going to be 8 cards in hand. Okay. No overdraw, but still big tempo play.
You might try to go for some kind of winning burst kill. Another Brewmaster being drawn. But now you can drop a Mountain Giant and taunt up. And the Sap has been used, so the Ancient Watcher being activated for taunt is very powerful. this position.
For sure.
Even furthermore, she has the coin, which she can utilize to put out a Brewmaster and push back the Sun Fury Protector if she wants to keep it.
You're still preserving the taunts, but you're putting in extra power on the board.
Yeah. I think she's going to keep that, though, just because you're going to make the Mountain Giant even weaker. This is one thing that I know Reynad talks about a lot. He says he thinks people hold on to the coin a little bit too long, just because you could have an extra card instead.
Well, you're sort of giving up. Of course, the player that goes first has an innate advantage, and the coin is just there to sort of make up for it. So if you're not using the coin, you're essentially playing at a disadvantage the entire game, or until you use it.
Right, but your advantage would be to draw another card.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what he always tends to argue. I wouldn't say always argues, but something that he's...
Are you talking about handlock specifically, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
He thinks handlock players don't tap enough, which I definitely can identify with.
I'm ready to leave.
So, saving the big game hunter as aggressively as he can. I like it.
Yeah, well, that's normally, I think, in that situation. Well, maybe not even. Sometimes it's good to save it regardless, but in this deck, even more so. Because once you draw into that Brewmaster, you just bring it on back. Bring it on back.
Is it Dr. Boom time?
Yes, of course it is. Nothing feels better than
Time to rock out.
than a turn 7 Dr. Boom. Even
I
if
love
it gets
how-
BGH.
I love how Dr. Boom has a stance that just says deal with it too. He's
Yeah.
missing a pair of sunglasses, but it's so badass. I can't even begin to describe.
BGH me, I dare you.
My gosh, he almost flame striked. If that hit the Drake for 4 damage too, that would have been pretty devastating.
I think it worked out pretty well.
Man, I'm very impressed with how Koyuki's going to be able to compose himself and navigate through this matchup without using Big Game Hunter on the chance that he's able to pick up a Brewmaster as well. He's playing very well with his decks, and just shows to you how strong of a player Koyuki is with such a short and limited time. This is something that Fight Night players feared him for a lot, because he was so good at adapting the formats and thinking like within the context of like, well, I have 1 day to adjust my deck list. Because what happened at Fight Night was you would see the decks 1 day, and then you're allowed to resubmit for the next day, and Koyuki would always be stronger in the next day because he's a guy that could react really well.
I think that's one of the benefits of playing card games in the past too, because like the core mechanics, yeah, the general theory of card games, and being able to react to different card games sort of translates over to being able to react to different formats within each card game. And he plays fast too.
Yeah, very decisive.
Yeah.
He's been putting in the time. Told me he wants to go a little bit harder into Hearthstone. Enjoy a little bit more about what's going on. No fear. He picked up 2 Brewmasters, by the way, so he's got more Big Game Hunters. In fact, he's got 2 Big Game Hunters on 1 turn with the Ancient Masters. He effectively has 4 BGHs right now.
Wow. And Youthful Brewmasters in his deck as well. And he's drawn through quite a bit. I think he probably has, what, like 12?
Probably less. He's already
10?
Fate of Knives. And
Oh yeah, Fan of Knives, Sprint. Yeah.
now, it's not like Karma's out of it yet. There is a lot of damage waiting on the other end, but one of those cards requires a minion to be on the board, which is always tough for Rogue against this deck if it does well. She's a mana off of where she wants to be too. Somewhat unfortunate. These Brewmasters again, not really that much application in a handlock deck.
No.
They're more inconvenient. The one thing that you do want a Brewmaster back would be to get the Defender of Argus, but
Yeah.
even then.
Or a situation where if you're like really low health and you have a Molten Giant on the board, you could trade with your Molten Giant and then like Brewmaster it back and replay it to heal it up. Sort of like a similar way that you would use
Oh my gosh.
Recombobulator. Oh no!
So nasty. He can bring back that Brewmaster and still clear the board. It's like, it's just so nasty.
You could tell Commerce is like, maybe I didn't think of this
Not
when I
quite what was
created
planned.
Handlock. That's a not quite what's planned at its finest here.
So then what does Carmen need at this point? She needs she has to Siphon Soul this? Oh, she's an agent. She drew into an agent. Okay, that's pretty cool. That definitely has a real application. But I feel like that's not I think it's just more of a defensive waiting for something to happen play.
Takes away an opportunity for like Molten Giant and like a comeback play.
Ridiculous.
Maybe there's no Molten Giants.
That would be very surprising.
That would be one of the least likely cards that I would assume would be cut.
Yeah, I would say maybe an owl. Could
An
get
owl,
cut.
maybe like a second Shadow
Maybe
Flame.
no dark bombs.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I'd probably say that.
Yeah,
Maybe
Youthful
one
Brewmaster
Shadow
seems
Flame.
to fit
I don't know.
into the Dark Bomb slot. Okay, I guess.
One Siphon Soul. There are flexible spots within hand. So Jiraxis here, again, like we said at the beginning of the match, he doesn't ever feel truly safe, or if you use Jiraxis, oftentimes you're most likely going to win.
There we go. Better late than never.
Pretty decent draw, though. The Molten Giant plus the Antique Heal Bot pretty much puts him out of range, right? It'll be 5, 11.
But you know that if you Molten Giant, it's just going to get BGH'd.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. You're right. Oh, man.
And then he's just going to bring it back again.
That's actually
no.
kind of hilarious.
And
Hold on. How much damage? She tapped. Yeah, I think with Tinker Sharpsword Oil. Unless it goes on the 1/1.
oh no!
Or any of these 1/1s?
2 1/1s.
Okay.
Okay.
He's good.
All right.
Almost a moment where he probably wouldn't have been able to, but hilarious if it goes into the 1/1.
I think he still would have been in a pretty good position there. He still had made it a BGH and things went entirely wrong there, but Koyuki